Okay, so I guess the first thing that I'm going to say, and I'm not going to do a very, very long video. I just want to do a little bit of an update. This week, specifically this morning and yesterday, I wake up and basically yesterday I was up like $2,500, like almost as soon as I walk out of my bed. And then I woke up this morning and I see I'm up again. I'm up like $400-500 already, and the market hasn't even opened. Right now it's 8:18 a.m. So basically, anybody who has bought stock has probably noticed that the Dow futures have basically pointed to the fact that they've seen appreciation in their own stock, which is really great and everything. However, I still want to remind people that the Dow Jones Industrial Index, or it does not in any way tell you the true strength of the actual stock market. The problem with the Dow Jones is that the Dow Jones is filled with companies now, and many of them are valued at $1 trillion or more. Like, for instance, Apple, Microsoft, both of those are $1 trillion companies. And you're only talking about like a handful, like 30 companies out of thousands of companies, right? So I think it's very dishonest that the news media, especially Trump, the news media, Trump, and the right-wing media, they point to the Dow to talk about how great the economy is. Well, I want you to think about the fact that the Dow's at 25,000, yet we've lost 100,000 Americans. People are still locked in their houses under quarantine, but people are starting to come out now because basically they're still shopping. But when you really think about it, the only places that they're actually shopping are grocery stores. Everything else is basically closed. The churches are closed. The malls are closed. There are a bunch of stores filing bankruptcy. The Dow Jones does not tell you the strength of the economy. However, it tells you how strong Walmart is. It tells you how strong Tesla might be. It tells you how strong Microsoft and Apple. These people are making online sales. Apple, Disney, companies like that, they're selling things that don't require people to actually leave their house. I think the best indicator is Amazon. Right now, Amazon, I'm pretty sure everybody's looking at Amazon right now and they're thinking to themselves, oh man, I really wish I had bought Amazon like when it broke down in March because of the quarantine. Yeah, Amazon is close to $2,500 a share, but Amazon is going to fall. Amazon is only up because people are locked in their house and they can't easily go out. And when I say they're locked in their house, I'm not talking about like legally. I think they're trapped in their house in some cases in fear. They don't want to go out, or because I know people who got their kids inside the house. They won't let them go out because they don't want their kids bringing the virus back into the house and reinfecting people in the house. Amazon at this point is a sell. There's no way Amazon stock can keep going up at this point once the markets open back up and people go out and they actually go get their own groceries and they go back to stores and they actually do their own clothing shopping. But that's not going to happen until people actually have to go back to work. Right now, there's no reason to buy any clothes. Like, I went into a store back when they were open and I was like, you know what? Well, what's the point of me buying clothes right now if I don't have to go into the office, and I don't have to go back into the office until after August? It's like, I don't need any clothes right now. Who am I impressing? I'm at home alone. So right now, that's the situation. So anyway, I just wanted to look over a couple of the stocks and I'll go back to my TD Ameritrade account so I can show you some of the stocks that I had recommended you, because you know it's funny, some assholes, I got some Bitcoin morons who are trying to troll me because even after that halving, Bitcoin refuses to stay around the 10,000 mark. It dropped into the 8,200s yesterday and it managed to get back up to the 9,000s. But all that bullshit that you heard people talking about with cryptocurrency, oh yeah, Bitcoin's going to 100,000. And then they oh yeah, Bitcoin's going to 1 million. It's like, what are you basing any of that on? The difference between me buying stock in, say, Bank of America or Tesla or buying Bitcoin, the difference is that, number one, most of these things pay dividends if you hold them long enough. And then on top of that, the difference is these things are tangible assets. One is a bank, the other one's an electric car. Bitcoin has nothing backing it. So Bitcoin right now is still getting shorted because anybody who was early money in, they're not holding that shit, because the thing about it is it's a Ponzi scheme. And some people might argue that all stocks and gold stocks and silver, some people might argue all of it's a Ponzi scheme. The difference is most of these things actually have something tangible behind them. Bitcoin by itself is a speculative asset. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that just right now because I've got plenty of time to talk about that. So let's look over the stocks that have appreciated. So everybody remembers that I was recommending Blowzoff, BLOZF. I bought into Blowzoff a long time ago when it was 15 cents. It rose up to $2.60 at one point. You can look over their histories yourself. And right now, Cannabix Technologies, they are developing a breathalyzer to test for people using marijuana. Because my theory on this, the reason why I invested in this company is because I was like, yo, if you people think the cops are ever going to let you be free, meanwhile, they're killing people, specifically that black man in, I think it was Minneapolis. They killed him over being a suspected forgery, I believe it was. And they got their knee on your fucking neck over forgery. If you think that they're going to ever let you be free to smoke marijuana, you're out of your goddamn mind. When I see a company that has proof of concept products coming to market and their stock is still low, those are the companies I invest in. Well, this one, I can see that with this marijuana breathalyzer, they're on to something. So bottom line is I bought it at 15 cents. It rose to $2 and $2.69. And it's going up again. It's going up again. But bottom line is I'm still ahead because I bought it at 15 cents. Then there's CTIC. This is one of the biopharma companies that I bought into. The last time I bought into it, it rose up considerably, and then I sold off. And I believe that's going to happen again because they have some new treatments coming, and thus far, the company seems to know what they're doing. But what's next? AIM Immunotech, I bought that early on. I think I bought that at about the same time I bought CTIC. Sanofi was the one that, that's SNY right here. Sanofi was the one that Trump was pushing because of hydroxychloroquine. Their stock really hasn't moved much. I mean, it moved up from the $30 range, but it hasn't gone much higher. Then there was Gilead, and Gilead was pushing remdesivir, another treatment for, what is it called, coronavirus. And the thing about it is any of these biopharma companies that are working on coronavirus treatments or they're working on the distribution of coronavirus treatments, those are worth looking into specifically because even once somebody has a vaccine, they're going to have to distribute it. And that's going to be the big issue. My question in the back of my mind is all of those people who are non-vaxxers, are they going to take the coronavirus vaccine? I have to wonder because, most of these, I want to see these people put their money where their mouth is. If they're that certain that the government's trying to kill them and make their kids autistic and all that bullshit, if they're that certain, then I say they should put their money where their mouth is. But we'll see what happens because anybody who lines up should be treated. But all these people talking shit on the sidelines, it's like, and let me say, I don't believe in rushed vaccines either. If you've rushed a vaccine to market, for all I know, that shit might be like that movie I Am Legend, and everybody gets the vaccine thinking they cure cancer. Next thing you know, everybody turns to fucking zombies. But listen, I'll worry about that when the time comes. So anyway, I bought Ford, I bought Chrysler, I bought GM. GM went from $22 to $27.40. Here's the thing: GM said that they refused, that they're not going to pay no dividends. GM, Ford, Chrysler, they've turned their factories into PPE equipment makers. So they're not really making cars right now. I think they were opening their factories by the end of May in order to start making cars again. But as far as I know, they're still making PPE, and I've noticed that when you go into stores now, you can easily get those horrible, ugly blue surgical masks. But I am glad to see that we were able to retool fast enough in order to be able to make PPE. So, the car companies are eventually going to go back up to their highs. GM's high, for example, was, $46, but most of the time before coronavirus hit, they were under 40. If GM thinks that they're gonna rise real fast selling them shitty ass, little ass Corvettes, then they're out of their fucking mind because not too many people are gonna be able to buy one of those things. Their market is more into buying, selling those shitty SUVs that only have like a fucking 4-cylinder with a turbocharger on it. But anyway, that's something else to decide. Tesla's coming back up. I said I'm sick and tired of having to deal with Elon Musk and his bullshit, so I'm going to sell all my Tesla stock eventually, and I'm going to sell it all at the same time. I know the shorts, they lost out on a lot of money when they were selling before it rose to 900, but at this point I don't care. I bought the Tesla stock at $30, and I spent good money buying it, so I win. If I sell right now, I've already won. I mean, I'll make over $50,000 easy, but I don't know how much I'm going to have to pay for taxes after all is said and done, but hey, the capital gains tax is really not that bad. Then there's GE. GE's still around $6. It's actually going up to about $7, but GE, it hit its lowest only a couple, I think 2 weeks ago. It was like $5.70. $5.50 right here, and that was like in the mid-May. So, I bought my stock in GE. Then you got Google. What is this? Apple. Apple's where it's going to be. Microsoft where it's going to be. These are $1 trillion companies. Google. They're doing really well and everything. But I prefer to buy cheap. It's better to buy low and sell high. I'm not buying high because it's too expensive to buy a lot of it. So there's no point. So there you got Bitcoin right there is 9,148. Let's see it get past 10,000 and stay there, but that's not going to happen. As soon as it hits 10,000, people are basically selling. GoPro's up. Some people were trying to get me to go into GoPro, but I really wasn't. I don't want GoPro. I just don't want it. There's too much competition for GoPro at this point. Twitter, they're doing okay. Lockheed Martin and Boeing. Boeing is still $144. I call Boeing Lockheed Light. They're not going anywhere until airline travel resumes. And even then, a lot of airlines are ditching the 777. And they're also saying that the 777's largest, the largest model of it, has the same problem that the A380 has because it's a really, really, really big plane. But, time will tell. I don't know what's going to happen eventually because it's all dependent on, what the companies and the countries that fly these planes are willing to buy. Companies like Emirates and Etihad, they can afford to buy $1 billion A380 jets because they got all that Arab money, that oil Arab money. So, they're not worried about it. But a lot of these other companies right now, they're facing bankruptcy. So, especially after Warren Buffett pulled out. Okay, so then there's a couple of my marijuana stocks that seem to be up. Cannabis, CBDS, Green Grow, Fought. Pretty much any of these marijuana companies that you see, I have at least 10,000 shares in. MJNA is one that I just bought, and I bought 10,000 in. I know I'm up already over $188 on this one because I bought it when it was like 0.012. Right now, they're up to 30 cents. And I really believe that even anything under $1, I like because it's easy to buy 10,000 shares of it. You only spend like maybe $100, $200 or whatever. But they're already up, so I'm not worried about them. Marijuana is, because America refuses to just legalize it and they'd rather, have these Nazi pigs, fascists going out and beating up minorities who smoke marijuana. Like, they've killed this bitch the other day over marijuana. They broke into these people's house, and this woman is in the bed. They were supposed to be serving a marijuana, what is it called, a warrant? And they killed this woman in her fucking bed. And right now, they got their knee on a guy's neck over forgery, and now the police precinct is being stormed. Because, the citizens, they just had enough of this bullshit. It's like, if all of the people doing marijuana were white, this country would not be in any way enforcing marijuana. And I'll say it just like that. Any of you right-wing fucking conservative morons, you can turn my channel off right now. You can unsubscribe. I don't give a fuck. I'll replace you with Asians over time, and there's more of them than there are you, so I don't give a fuck. The bottom line is, if this country was entirely white, they would not be enforcing marijuana. And all of our marijuana stocks would be through the roof. But guess what? Because I gotta go to fucking Denver, I gotta go to California to smoke weed. And I've never smoked weed. I don't smoke weed. Most people, they think smoking weed, they're proud of that shit. Me personally, I don't do drugs because I like to be in complete control. So I'm a control freak. So I'm not one of these people who's at a club and they're bouncing around off people drunk until a fight starts. That's not me. I go to a club and I'm proud. I'll order a Sprite or a Coca-Cola, and when the rest of you start some shit and you'll get into fights drunk and everything, I whip out my camera, I start recording that shit so I can have YouTube videos. I prefer to be in control, so I don't do drugs. But as for drugs, if it wasn't for the fact that this country is still racist when it comes to drugs, marijuana wouldn't even be an issue. Like, it would be free. People would probably be growing that shit in their backyard next to their tomatoes and their mustard greens. So anyway, War Gold, that went up considerably when I had bought it, but this was another one of those penny stocks. The price is still going up, but I got it a while ago because it was like I got in back when it was, because I tried to buy everything when it was like penny stocks. All these things that you're seeing, most of them have appreciated considerably. So that's good. Let's see. MSIG. These are all penny stocks, mostly, medical and marijuana. Nike, you remember how these stupid ass conservatives were trying to get people to boycott Nike? Yeah, how'd that work out, you dumbasses? It was like, we ain't boycotting a fucking Nike, not for you. What are they? They're trying to boycott stores that make people wear masks. I think it was some idiot walked into Costco and they were like, yeah, you gotta have a mask, and then they threw his ass out. Good for him. And they were like, yeah, we're going to boycott Costco. Costco don't give a fuck about you because they know that everybody else, they're like, yo, listen, we don't want to go in the store and get sick. So they threw his ass out. Good for you, you idiot. And nobody's boycotting nothing for you. What are you kidding? I got to get my bulk milk and my organic orange juice. Fuck out of here. Okay. Airlines. Somebody tried to troll me and be like, oh yeah, well, you were so bullish on the airlines. Yeah, that was up until I saw Warren Buffett come out that Friday and say he's selling all his stock. And then I realized that as soon as he did that opening up the stock market on Monday was going to mean everybody's going to sell all their goddamn stock. That's why I put out a video and I said Warren Buffett collapsed the markets, and I was warning people to sell your sell your airline stock and buy oil and the banks. I specifically said that, and I'm on video saying it. So if you don't pay attention, then fuck you. That's your fault. So anyway, the airlines are still coming up. As you can see, Delta is up to $25. It was as low as, I think it was 19, if I'm not mistaken. Just, I think earlier, not very long ago, it was like 29. It was about $20 or something like that. But Delta is obviously up. America Airlines is up. I kept telling people, okay, when America Airlines is under $10, that's when you buy. Everybody knows I'm saying it because I know I said it. Boeing, some people buying into Boeing, and it all depends how much money you have. This shit is expensive. I mean, it's easy for me to say, yeah, you just take $1,000 and drop it into these things, but I have larger amounts of stock to sell, and I also have a very big trading portfolio. And I'll tell you this, another little secret of mine. If you have a lot of money and you keep it in the bank, you're getting like nothing in interest. You're getting like 0.05%. My last interest statement that I saw, I had made $20 this month from interest. I made over $20 this month from just the interest. And had I had that money in the bank, I would have made 0.05. That would have been like nothing. And the thing about it is your trading accounts, not only if you've held these things long enough, they pay dividends, but on top of that, they pay better interest than the goddamn bank does. So in my opinion, you should have yourself a savings account, but you should also use your trading account as if it was a bank account. So you should have a specific trading account set aside that says any money that I put in here, I'm going to risk in the stock market. And any gains that I get from the stock market, I'm going to put it in here and I'm going to get interest off of it. It's not, I won't say it's hard to explain, but what I'm saying is that, yeah, everybody here you should have a checking account, you should have a savings account, and you should have a trading account, if that makes sense. Your trading account, what you should do is every time you get paid, you should take maybe, I don't know what you can afford because everybody's different, but you should take a couple $100, invest it, but that goes specifically to the trading account, and that doesn't in any way mix with your checking or your savings. Because you never want to end up bouncing checks, or you never want to end up, spending up your savings or anything, if that makes sense. So, what else? Anything else here worth looking at? Resonant. One of my friends had asked me about Resonant, and I told him to get in, and I know he's up. I don't remember what his buy-in was, but Resonant was one of those companies that was working on 5G technology. As you know, if you look at my video, I am an oil man. As you know, I pushed SM and I pushed SLCA when it was it was less than $2. It was like $1.72 and $1.49. So everybody knows that I pushed SM, SLCA, TTI. Those were oil stocks, drilling companies, and as you can see right now, SM is up to $4, SLC is up to $3. Oil is going to take time to come back because the airlines use 36% of the oil. So by using 36% of the oil, what you're looking at right now is all the planes are on the ground. Nobody's really flying. And as the economy slowly comes back online, oil is going to go up. However, there are 200 million barrels of oil sitting off our shores in ships. And basically, it's going to be a while before oil comes back because we have a glut of oil. Okay, I'm going to try to make this part fast. All right, so my bank stocks, as you can see, I was pushing the banks. I was bearish on the banks. Even Wells Fargo. People hate Wells Fargo. One of my mortgages is with Wells Fargo. I understand how you feel about Wells Fargo, but I was like, fuck it, they're a bank. When people need money, they're going to go to these banks. They're going to go to anybody who'll give their broke asses a loan. These people are unemployed. They need a loan. They need HELOCs on their houses. The banks are cutting back on HELOCs. The banks are cutting back on your available credit limits because they don't want you spending on your credit card if there's a possibility of you losing your job and not paying them back. Basically, right now, Trump's economy, to me, is looking like it's going to be Bush's economy come 2008. If you remember 2008, the economy crashed under Bush in 2008 on September 15th, 2008. But yet these right-wing, lunatic, racist morons continue to try to blame Obama for the bailout that was coming for Bush's failed economy. Fuck you, Sean Hannity and Will Cow. You all are losers and liars, but you can't talk over a YouTuber because I got 70,000 plus people listening to the sound of my voice, so you can kiss my ass. So anyway, as I was saying, the Bush bailouts were part of Bush's economic failure. When Obama got in, the market was slow to increase, and I will say that because that's a fact. Obama did not give out major tax cuts. The difference between the Obama economy and the Trump economy is that Trump put out tax cuts without doing spending cuts. We are now $26 trillion in debt because of Trump. His tax cuts made Microsoft, Apple, and basically most of the companies on the Dow 30 into trillionaires. Meanwhile, all the other companies, most of them didn't either get gains or a lot of them are going bankrupt right now. Trump's tax cuts in no way helped fucking Toys R Us. And they in no way helped Macy's. They in no way helped the major retailers that we go to on a daily basis to shop. So all you right-wing lunatic pieces of shit, I can say whatever I'm going to say, and there's nothing you can do about it, so you can kiss my ass. I don't give a fuck. Okay, next, the last things on my list. I bought into NVIDIA A long time ago, my NVIDIA is up to $348. I don't know how high it can go. I'm hoping someday it goes up to 1,000, but I'm so far up on NVIDIA, I'm feeling very happy. What I recommend to you, forget NVIDIA, what you need to do, and you know I hate AMD. You know their processors suck, in my opinion. They're nothing more than loaded up processors that overheat, and they're trying to keep up with Intel. And then you've got their GPUs that also suck. Wait, what is it? What is this? The 2080 Ti that I bought is way better than anything AMD's got. And even when AMD finally makes a 20 Ti competitor, it's still going to suck because NVIDIA is going to have the 3000 series out. And NVIDIA is always going to be ahead of AMD because they aren't afraid to spend a lot of money and make better products, and AMD can't catch up. They're just like Apple. NVIDIA is the Apple of the technology world, basically. They make expensive shit that people want. People buy it, but you always have these losers with these Galaxy Android phones talking all this shit, and they're like, oh yeah, well you should have bought a Oppo Find X, or you should have bought something that didn't have a notch. Guess what, stupid? I didn't want something that didn't have a notch. I wanted an Apple iPhone. I wanted a 2080 Ti. Oh yeah, well you shouldn't have bought that. You should have bought a Radeon 7 and saved $500. Guess what, stupid? I had $500 and I was willing to spend $1,100 on this 2080 Ti, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I'm not patronizing your shitty company. All that said, AMD is at $53 a share. AMD is Intel's rival. AMD is also NVIDIA, and who else makes Micron, I think, and Gigabyte, like all those people. AMD, it's $50 now, but if you look over their history for the last 5 years, AMD has been nothing but up. If you had bought into AMD a while back, 2015, you would have gotten that shit for $2.22 damn cents. And now look where it is. Look at that shit, 58. I personally don't see any reason why AMD can't be where NVIDIA is. So this is my recommendation to you. You don't have to follow it because, you know, it's your money, and I don't know how much you're gambling with. And I say gambling because that's what it is. I recommend that you buy into AMD and Logitech. And I recommend that you buy in with no less than, I'd say, about $1,000. You take $1,000. I don't know how long it takes you to make $1,000. I'm making $2,000 just using YouTube and making YouTube videos. So every month I'm getting like a solid income from that alone. And I usually take my YouTube money and I just reinvest it into stocks, which is why it's so easy for me to, talk, about buying stocks. So I recommend that you spend about $1,000 by AMD. And you also spent $1,000 by Logitech. Logitech bought Cytec. And when Logitech bought Cytec, they had knocked out one of their major competitors in doing that. And as you can see, this is what Logitech looks like. Let's see what they look like over the last 2 years. The lowest that they've been was $29. Now they're up to there. So as you can see, the trend is pretty good in Logitech's favor. So basically, that is what all I wanted to really talk about on this main stock list that I watch regularly on my phone. And it looks like we're having another up day. The market opens in 50 minutes or so, and it looks like we're having another up day, so that's really awesome. And, I'm pretty sure anything that you bought that I've recommended, because I've bought the same stuff, I'm pretty sure everything is my TD Ameritrade watch list. I've basically featured this in every single one of these Market Watch videos that I've been making. And as you can see, I was trying to get you to consider buying big oil companies and the banks. And as you'll see, any of those things that you bought into are up. Even GE is up from the point where I was pushing it. But, I mean, it's really not that difficult to understand. It's like, the thing about it is, everything was down in March. Coronavirus pretty much knocked everything down. Now, the question became at that point, which of these companies is going to fail and which of these companies is going to get back up on their haunches? And if they are able to get back up, it's obviously not going to happen overnight, because the problem is right now the people are at home not spending, and then you have a lot of people out of work. 40 million people are out of work. So you've got 100,000 dead Americans. Even if you added up what Pearl Harbor, Vietnam, 9/11, and the Iraq war casualties, under Trump, we have more than 100,000 dead Americans to this day. Right now, it's, what is this, May 27th. And I know you Trump sycophants don't like me saying it, but really, there's nothing you can do about it. I'm going to keep saying it because, I'm just going to say it and there's nothing you can do about it. And I like that. So, big oil. Chevron, Exxon, Shell, BP, GM, Sunoco, and GE. I kept saying Chevron was way too expensive. Like, if you were going to buy Chevron, you might as well be buying Boeing. At $94 a share, that's expensive. However, if I'm not mistaken, it was as low as $90, but the thing about it is it has a 52-week high of 127, so once they get back to normal, they should be okay. But if you notice, all these lows are incredible. Like, these things got chopped in half for the most part by the lows. But here's the thing. For the people who weren't ready to buy into the big oil companies, I did offer you the small oil companies. There were also the banks that I told you should buy into. The banks stocks got chopped down. JP Morgan's up to $100 now. Shit. So that's good. Capital One is still 69, but everything basically got chopped in half pretty much when coronavirus put the market on sale. I think that was about the point when I was telling you to buy the banks. I'm a little disappointed that ISBC hasn't rallied a little bit more, but ISBC is still a small bank. So I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to wait for their high, and then I'm going to short it. These other ones, I definitely want to wait for Wells Fargo to get back to normal, and then I'll short them. But Capital One, JP Morgan, and Bank of America, I might hold on to a little bit longer. I'm going to see which one of them makes more sense to hold, because I don't see anybody paying dividends anytime soon because they have to hold them in order to remain profitable. So as far as the oil stocks go, these mass oil stocks, these were the ones that I was suggesting. I could go by price. I'll go by lowest first. So TRNX, NE, DNR. One of my friends called me and told me that, I think it was NBR. Yeah, NBR that I had recommended. He had bought that one, and that was way up. I know somebody had contacted me and told me that the TTI I had recommended was way up. But yeah, I'm glad when I can make recommendations, and it seems that most of my stock information actually seems to work because I know it works for me. And if people are buying anything like what I'm buying, it must be working for them too, I suppose. I don't know how much they're buying of it, considering I'm probably spending more money than most people. But hey, cruise lines. I had no idea that cruise lines were going to make their rebound so quickly, but I was telling people that, Carnival and Royal Caribbean, because those were the two that paid dividends, those were the best ones to buy. I've heard that millennials are spending a lot of money on cruise lines. So as you can see, Carnival is up from the $12 buy-in that I had recommended, and Royal Caribbean is racing back to their norm. Their 52-week high was $135. And their 52-week low was $19. Coronavirus put this entire market on sale. So, I don't know how you feel about that, or if you were able to buy in. But, yeah, not bad. And then there was one penny stock, ROCLF. That one actually started to move up because, as you can see, it's less than 2 cents right now. But when I bought into it, it was like 0.004. And it has gotten some upward momentum, which is nice. Penny stocks are probably the easiest way to invest and make a little bit of extra money. And you can make a lot if you're lucky. But usually it's like most of them, you end up making, a couple $100. But you have to also sell because they're also very volatile. Okay, so there's my mRNA, Moderna. Moderna is way up because I believe they had a coronavirus vaccine or something. They had good news on that. What is it? MJNA was the marijuana stock that's up to 3 cents per share. Gilead hasn't done as well as I thought it was going to do with that remdesivir, but the thing about it is, I guess it's still early. Nobody's really started taking any vaccines yet, so I guess it's still early to talk about that. So, and Sanofi, I'm surprised they haven't risen more after Trump was trying to pump up the stock prices, but I guess not. So, I mean, Trump himself was pumping and dumping the shit. I mean, he's up there talking about hydroxychloroquine. So I thought they would have been a little bit higher when you have the president talking all that shit. But I guess left-wing media put the kibosh on that nonsense. And then you got lithium mining stocks. As you know, my premise here with lithium mining was that eventually electric cars, because of the fact that we have to get lithium until solid state batteries are made, lithium mining is a big thing because, you know, they make lithium ion batteries. Most of these companies, I believe, are Canadian. Pretty much they're up from where I bought them because I guess I bought them when people were shorting them back in March. Because I went on a spending frenzy in March. When the market crashes, that's when you're supposed to be buying in. Because if you buy in then, you can almost be assured that you're buying lows. The only thing you can't be assured of is that the companies themselves won't go bankrupt. So yeah, that's just lithium mining. And that's that. So basically, that's my video for right now, and I hope you enjoyed it. The market is opening up in about 30 minutes, so I can't wait to see what happens today. But I'm already up this week because we had no Monday. We only had Tuesday, and then this is Wednesday because of Memorial Day. But I'm already up almost $5,000, so I'm liking the way the market's looking. And you know, hopefully everybody else is up too. So if you had any good gains you want to talk about, just post it in the comment section.